So Sheila, I really enjoyed making that last video. Again, it's all about me. It may be useless to you, but I live alone and I don't have much to do. And it's a Sunday, and I just had fun doing that. So I'm going to make another one, and if you want to just chuck it, that's fine. But at least, you know, I had fun doing it. Excuse me. Today I want to talk to you about bass drum. You know, I'm big on the whole backbeat, where the backbeat's the most important part of the beat, and the bass drum and every other part of the drums that you use are used to accentuate or introduce the backbeat, and that's always worked really, really well for me. People always kind of like my style of drumming because I never got off that backbeat thing, you know. Even when I do that railroad kind of beat that we call it, you know, I always make the backbeat an important part. If I use bass drum, it's just. I even use the top hat. I try to keep the top hat an important part of it. If I use the top hat, I do this. It just kind of introduces that. So anyway, that's that. But let's talk about waltz. Now we talked about waltz before in the standard 3, you know, just two and 3. So when you use a bass drum, I always like to have the bass drum introducing the backbeat. So when I use a bass drum in a waltz, I'll do something like this. So you're always kind of introducing the backbeat. With the regular shuffle, I'll do something like this. Some people do this kind of thing. I've done that in some songs. The arrangement require you do that. I never do that automatically. If I'm doing it, it's always, again, introducing the backbeat. And on a straight beat. See, a lot of people in the old style, the old rock and roll and surf music, they used to. I hated that, but you can tell when you do that. That's like the Roy Orbison. Remember Roy Orbison? That was his big thing. He used to do a lot of where it was boom, 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 boom. That was never my kind of rhythm. I always liked to have, again, the backbeat, you know. So I used to do this kind of thing. Okay. I can't do this anymore. Yeah, I haven't been playing enough, and it takes some practice. But if you practice on this, you'll really love doing this. When I did that Harvest Festival out with Marty last year, I practiced like, I don't know if you recall, I was practicing like an hour a night for like 2 or 3 weeks in front of that gig because I hadn't played drums. Well, I had been playing drums at Blaine at that time, so I had some of my chops were back. But This is something, if you alternate, if you're playing the bass drum and you alternate the snare in between. So this is simply how it goes. And if you work on it and you hit a rim shot on that one, that really sounds cool, especially if you're doing something really fast. If you try to always keep the bass, well, don't try, you really almost have to keep the bass on the ride. So if you're doing a shuffle, something like that. I always keep the bass on the kind of music we play here, you know, the country music. Keep the bass just so it's driving stuff, just so it's keeping the rhythm going. Don't do anything like, well, it's up to you, but we used to have a guy, Terry Sullivan, that played at Creekside on a regular basis. And he didn't have any chops. He was not near as good as you. Didn't have the rhythm you have, didn't understand the beats and that kind of thing, but he thought that the fact that he could do a lot of bass drum stuff was an asset, a virtue, and it wasn't, because it didn't match anything. So if we're doing just rhythm stuff, you know, just the bass, and if, when you're doing that rumba beat, here's why you try to do this, see if I can do it, because I'm rusty. And here's something for you to practice on. When you're doing the rumba beat, use the bell of your ride cymbal up here to practice this. See if I can't do it. And then once you practice it, then just hit on the off 8 notes rather than do it. It takes practice. You get that down, and then when you really got it down, man, and you can cream that sucker, then you use the edge of the stick on the bell. So that's a lot of fun. But on the bass, back to the bass drum, on that beat, I do that double tick. And that keeps it, and then after a while you get good, and you get. Doing stuff like that, but keep it simple. But just always have it going with the rhythm of the music. You got that Latin beat down really, really nice. You're doing that great. See, what else could I show you? Oh, here's something for you to practice. Take the snares off. You know, so it's that's all like that. And by the way, work on your bouncing. You know. Get that, see if you can get a roll going. It just starts, you know, just two beats on each one. Anyway, if you do this, see this? You learn to do that, and Wally will go crazy. It's just 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, and 3, and da 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 bum bum. And you notice you have your hand down here. Sounds like that. You have your hand off. One final thing, I know this is really silly, but I enjoy doing this because I'm a show-off. Not a show-off, but anyway, I'd like you to practice. We talked a little bit on that last video about triplets, and here's the importance of triplets. Because eventually you want to be able to do what's called a Rademachew. Rademachew, Rademachew, Rademachew. Rademachew. So eventually you'll be able to go. So again, I'm rusty. Because when you're playing, you'll eventually, when you're playing with your rock and roll band on the Grand Ole Opry, and you will, 2 years from now you'll be on the Grand Ole Opry. You want to you want to do that little trick. So anyway, there you go. Delete it if you want, but it was fun doing it. I hope it helps a little bit. I'm really rusty, and obviously I'm not any great drummer, but you're doing really good. Talk to you later.